Hi, my name is Dan Nelson. Today I want to talk to you about this delightful product called Acryl Gouache, made by Turner. If you haven't tried it, you got to give it a whirl. I'm going to talk about the properties of it and demonstrate it a little bit while we talk. Let me describe what it's all about. It's called acryl, obviously the word acrylic, and gouache. Now if you've never tried gouache before, let me tell you what gouache is good for. It's a very, very popular medium among illustrators because it's fast, easy to use, water-based, easy cleanup, and opaque. Okay? And I'm using a big brush. I just want to demonstrate a little bit the opacity of this paint. And of course it can be mixed. Let me go to slightly contrasting color. By the way, if you open these, I've discovered sometimes it helps to give them a shake before you open them. If it's been on your shelf for a while, it might have settled a little bit. Like any paint, these paints can be mixed and blended. Let me go to a third color. Wait, let me give it a shake. There we go. Now let me go to a third color. Just want you to see they can be blended very much like acrylic paints. Now back to what is it about this product that is so special and unique? The problem with gouache paint is that it's very unstable. It's like what we used in elementary school. Remember tempera paints? Gouache is sort of like professional quality tempera. I might get in trouble for saying that, so don't tell anybody I said that, but it's a professional quality water-based paint, and very easy to work with, but it's unstable. That is to say, if you've got a finished gouache painting sitting on your easel and your friend comes over and spills coffee on your painting, I know that happens all the time, it's going to make a complete mess of your painting. More to the point, coffee spilled or not, if a paint is unstable, it's difficult to work on top of it because what is underneath will pick up. It's re-wettable. Did you get it? I have another secret weapon here, a spray bottle. Lets me re-moisten this and blend it a little bit more. So the addition of acrylic to this gouache paint fixes the stability problem. The advantage of acrylic, of course, is that it's very stable, but it dries very quickly and you can't rework it. So this paint is a perfect combination of those two. Let me move to a smaller brush to do some blending right in this area. Okay. Then I'll go back a little way. So this paint combines the best of both worlds between acrylic and gouache. Gouache is fast flowing, fast applying, and opaque, and acrylic, of course, is stable. One of the other advantages of this paint or benefits of this paint, is that it's reworkable. After it dries, to a certain extent, you can come back and rework it. Now that might sound like I just contradicted myself because I just said it was stable. Well, it's very much like some acrylics that are out on the market now where you can come back and rework them for a while. That's exactly what this does, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you in just a moment. So I'm hoping that I'm demonstrating here just how well they blend. Let me put a new gesso board up here for you. It's one that I've been experimenting with already. And you can tell that it's a test because it says test right on it. I want to tell you what this is. All of this orange, pumpkin, brown color area I painted yesterday. So it's 24 hours old. And this gray, tan, and the word test I did just an hour or two ago. So let's find out. Let's do an experiment. The first experiment is that I'm going to take a white paper towel, nothing on my sleeve, white, and I'm going to dip it in water and rub it on the part that's 24 hours old, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I can't see any change happening to the painting. So just to give you an idea, you couldn't do this to gouache, like you couldn't do it to watercolor, right? It would completely mess up the painting underneath. But so far, I don't see any change happening in the paint that is 24 hours old. Now, I did this before, and I found out, oh yeah. So I am actually picking up pigment. So that I'm just trying to give you an accurate appraisal of how stable versus reworkable this is. On a 24-hour-old surface, I don't see any change here, but apparently we are picking up some here. Now, let's do the same thing. Another paper towel. Dip it in water. And this time I'm going to rub the word test that's only about an hour or so old. And let's see what happens there. Okay, good. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Now I'm picking up quite a bit of pigment. If I rubbed very gently, nothing happens. But if I rub repeatedly and vigorously, I don't know if we can get this all the way back to 0. I doubt it. That is, can I wipe the S completely off the painting? I don't think so. So does that help convey? Let me do another one. Another paper towel. Dip it in water, clean water, and now rub over here this gray area. My guess is, and this is the latest thing that I painted before I started the video, my guess is that I will be able to blend that completely either out or use it as a blending tool. So does that help convey? 24 hours old, quite impervious to change. That means you can come back and paint on top of it. 1 hour old, you can wipe it off, but I believe you can also paint on top of it. Let me switch palettes here just a second. I believe you can paint on top of it without lifting up what's underneath. Let's do a test right now. So I'm going to grab, not my mixing white, I want regular white, which is probably more opaque if I guess their labeling correctly. And do a nice clean brush in there. Is this all dry now? Yeah, pretty dry. I believe I can paint on top of this without picking up anything underneath. Now let me scrub here a little bit. This is yesterday's paint. Let's see if that, I don't see anything. It's getting thin now because my brush is damp, but I don't see it picking up from underneath. Let's do the paint that I did just a couple hours ago. So I'm doing white on top of gray. And yes, can you see that? My white is turning gray. It is picking up the pigment that's underneath. So I hope that gives you an accurate appraisal of the benefits and features of this paint. You can rework it. I believe the packaging, the promo on this paint says up to 24 hours, but we've seen the effect that it had. 24 hours is minimal, but the effect that it's having on paint that I did an hour ago is, I would call it controllable. You can paint on it and let nothing pick up, or you can scrub away and pick up what's underneath. Okay? Good enough for that demonstration. Let me put down my test gesso board again and go back to the white one, which by this time it's still damp. So let's see what happens. That's how many minutes old? 5, 10, 5, 7 minutes old, something like that. So I should be able to come in here with a damp brush and move this around pretty well. And that's, I think, exactly what's happening. Now I'm just having fun and playing. You're welcome to watch me if you want, but I want to see what happens if, again, I take a paper towel and try to scrub out. Excellent. It's exactly what I was hoping for. Now, I'm working on a really nice, smooth gesso board here, which is, you could work on canvas, I'm sure. You could work on paper. There. Does that give you a good idea? I hope it does. Let me do just a little bit more painting. Let me grab a contrasting color, something in blue, for instance, light blue. Give that a little shake. I don't think I'm going to be doing any beautiful piece of artwork for you today. Sorry, if that's what, I know that's not what you wanted anyway, so I'm just going to be demonstrating the properties of this paint. And this is called Blue Compose. Compose? C-O-M-P-O-S-E. Compose. Blue Compose. And let's see what happens if we take some straight out of the bottle color up here and put it on top of what was done just 7 or 8 minutes ago. Yeah, and it's picking up and blending fairly well. The coverage of this stuff is one of the things that's most amazing. And just to be fun, before you go, what color should I use? I want to use a really big brush. When I was in college studying art, one of the lessons that I did learn from my professors there was always use the biggest brush you can get away with. And these brushes are from my regular painting kit. But I've seen artists use big brushes, but just for fun. I've never seen an artist use brushes bigger than me, bigger than I. Not only do I get coverage, I get this delightful texture. If you want to know which art store you can buy this brush at, that would be well, it's called a masonry brush, so I don't know what masons do with it, but I paint with it. Just a little bit more, just for fun. You don't have to watch this part. This is bonus. You do have to watch this part. This will be on the final exam. So I'm really scumbling now. I'm not demonstrating so much the opacity of this paint as just the, how does it spread? How when you go thin, what happens to it? Scumble, scumble, scumble. Beautiful. Hey, since we've gone this far, let's go ahead and finish all the way to the bottom of the page. What do you say? And then please, somebody come up with a good title for it. Untitled number 13. There we go. I can't stand untitled titles, but that's just me. I'm kind of weird that way. I guess I feel like artists ought to be able to use words too, but there you go. You're getting more opinion than you paid for on this, aren't you? There. Untitled number 13 in Acryl Gouache by Dan Nelson. Play with it. Let me know how it goes. Please go to my website, dannelsonart.com, and let me hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.